United States politicians who went to jail and what they were found guilty of. Rod Blagojevich. Rod Blagojevich, the then Democratic governor of Illinois, and his chief of staff, John Harris, were charged with corruption in December 2008. As a result, Blagojevich was impeached by the Illinois General Assembly and removed from office in January 2009. Blagojevich was impeached by the Illinois General Assembly and removed from office in January 2009 by the Illinois Senate. However, the federal investigation continued even after he was removed from office. However, our man wasn't guilty on just one charge. On June 27, 2011, after a retrial, Blagojevich was found guilty of 17 charges, including wire fraud, attempted extortion, and conspiracy to solicit bribes. Not guilty of one charge, and the jury deadlocked after 10 days of deliberation on the two remaining charges. Finally, Blagojevich was sentenced to 14 years in prison. So, next time you think your job's tough, just be thankful you're not the guy who tried to turn a Senate seat into a bidding war. Politics, my friend. It's a wild ride. Alcee Hastings. So, back in 1983, Judge Hastings of the Southern District of Florida was tried and acquitted on bribery charges. However, following his acquittal, a special judicial investigatory committee reviewed the trial and concluded that Hastings had lied and fabricated evidence. He was also accused of leaking evidence obtained through wiretaps in a separate investigation. The committee recommended that Hastings be impeached, which the Judicial Conference of the United States forwarded to the House of Representatives. The House Committee on the Judiciary referred the case to a subcommittee, which held hearings in 1988. Following the conclusion of the hearings, 17 articles of impeachment were approved and submitted to the entire House, which then approved an impeachment resolution. The Senate doesn't waste time. They assembled a special committee to dig into the evidence. October 1989 rolls around, and it's trial time. The Senate held the trial in October 1989 and found Hastings guilty on 9 of the 17 articles. Dennis Hastert. John Dennis Hastert is a former American politician, former educator, convicted felon, and sex offender who represented Illinois' 14th Congressional District from 1987 to 2007 and served as the 51st Speaker of the United States House of Representatives from 1999 to 2007. He's not just any politician, he's got the title of the longest-serving Republican Speaker of the House. But, as they say, all good things must come to an end. After Democrats won control of the House in 2007, Hasard resigned and began working as a lobbyist. But wait, here's where it gets spicy. In 2016, the plot takes an unexpected twist. Hastert, the seasoned politician, gets hit with a 15-month prison sentence. Why? Financial crimes tied to some dark secrets involving the sexual abuse of teenage boys. It's like a political drama taking a turn into the courtroom, and the audience is left with jaws on the floor. Ted Stevens. Ted Stevens was an American politician and lawyer who represented Alaska in the United States Senate from 1968 to 2009. He was the longest-serving Republican senator in history when he retired. In 2008, he's hit with charges of corruption during his Senate re-election campaign. They say he failed to report gifts, and it's like the political version of, oops, I forgot to do my homework. The jury delivers a guilty verdict, and Stevens becomes the first U.S. senator in 27 years to be convicted while in office. Turns out, there were some serious issues with how the prosecution handled evidence. The judge wasn't having any of it. He decides the trial was a bit of a circus act and sets aside the guilty verdict. Stevens, who lost his re-election bid in the midst of this chaos, is left with a mix of relief and a tarnished political legacy. Sadly, the twist in this tale is that Stevens passed away in a plane crash in 2010. William Jefferson. In the dynamic world of Louisiana politics, William Jennings Jefferson is a key player. This guy was a big shot in the Democratic Party. representing the greater New Orleans area in the U.S. House of Representatives for 9 whopping terms. However, his career was cut short due to a corruption scandal and conviction. Following a corruption investigation, Jefferson was sentenced to 13 years in federal prison for bribery on November 13, 2009. He filed an appeal following a decision by the United States Supreme Court on similar issues. In light of these findings, Jefferson was ordered to be released on October 5, 2017, pending sentencing or other action, after a U.S. district judge dismissed 7 of 10 charges against him. On December 1, 2017, Judge T.S. Ellis III accepted Jefferson's plea bargain and sentenced him to time served, having spent 5.5 years of his initial 13-year sentence in federal prison. Jesse Jackson Jr. Jesse Louis Jackson Jr. is an American politician. He was the United States Representative for Illinois' 2nd Congressional District from 1995 until his resignation in 2012. It's quite the political marathon. Jackson was investigated for financial irregularities, including the misappropriation of campaign funds in October 2012. Jackson resigned from Congress on November 21, 2012. The reason? Mental and physical health issues, including a tag team of bipolar disorder and gastrointestinal problems. It's like the hero taking a dramatic exit from the stage. But wait, there's more. On February 8, 2013, Jackson admitted to violating federal campaign law by using campaign funds to make personal purchases. On February 20, 2013, Jackson pled guilty to 1 count of wire and mail fraud. On August 14, 2013, he was sentenced to 30 months in federal prison. Jackson was released from prison on March 26, 2015. Rick Renzi. Another convicted politician is Richard George Renzi, an American politician who served as a Republican member of the United States House of Representatives from 2003 to 2009, representing Arizona's 1st Congressional District. He was convicted in 2013 on federal criminal charges stemming from his involvement in a land swap deal. The charges for more than $700,000 in personal gain were filed in 2008. The FBI raided his family business on April 19, 2007, and he temporarily resigned from the House Intelligence Committee. However, on August 23rd, Renzi announced that he would not run for re-election in 2008. Renzi was indicted on 35 counts related to land deals on February 22, 2008. He entered a not guilty plea. Renzi was convicted on 17 of 32 counts in his corruption case on June 12, 2013. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison on October 28, 2013. Boom. Justice served. Robert Menendez. Robert Menendez is an American lawyer and politician who has been the senior United States Senator from New Jersey since 2006. Menendez was charged with federal corruption in 2015, but the jury was unable to reach a verdict and the charges were dropped in 2018. Menendez was severely admonished by the United States Senate Select Committee on Ethics in April 2018 for accepting gifts from donor Salomon Melgen without obtaining committee approval, failing to disclose certain gifts, and using his position as a senator to advance Melgen's interests. Menendez was indicted again in September 2023 on federal corruption charges that he aided and provided sensitive information to the Egyptian government. Despite calls to resign from numerous state and congressional Democrats, including 30 of his Senate colleagues, he stepped down as chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, but refused to resign from the Senate and repeatedly denied any wrongdoing. Larry Craig. Larry Craig, an American retired politician from Idaho who served 18 years in the United States Senate, faced a notable incident in 2007. He was arrested on June 11th of that year for alleged indecent behavior in a men's restroom in Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. In August of that same year, Craig pleaded guilty to a charge of disorderly conduct and paid $575 in court fines. The news about his arrest became public after an article by the Washington, D.C.-based newspaper Roll Call was published. This revelation brought widespread attention and accusations of hypocrisy against Craig, especially considering his previous opposition to LGBT rights in the United States. Despite initially announcing his resignation from the Senate effective September 30th, 2007, Craig later reversed his decision and decided to serve out the rest of his term, but chose not to run for re-election in 2008. The incident had a significant impact on his political career and public perception. David Vitter. David Bruce Vitter is a politician from Louisiana who served in the United States Senate from 2005 to 2017. Vitter, on the other hand, was convicted of soliciting prostitution in 2007. The court wasn't too harsh, though. He got a deferred sentence and a mere $50 fine. Vitter's phone number was included in a published list of phone records of Pamela Martin and Associates, a company owned and run by Deborah Jean Palfrey, also known as the D.C. Madam, who was convicted by the United States government of operating a prostitution service. Hustler tracked down the phone number and called Vitter's office to inquire about his connection to Palfrey. He issues a written statement admitting his sin and asking for forgiveness. The drama doesn't end there. After a week of keeping a low profile, Vitter faces the public, wife by his side, in a news conference on July 16, 2007.
That's it for today's video. Did we miss anyone on this list? Be sure to let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe and turn on notification so that you never miss an upload. See you in the next one.